first off.
Oh, that's a good sound.
I know, man.
Nice,
yeah,
too.
you got to get that. Just started on the right note. Secondly, I want to say to the league, not enough people have been thanking me for the awesome situation that I created for this coming week. We're going to talk about that ad nauseum during this episode.
Yeah.
But we have one of the most fun final week situations we've been in ever. Matt, how's your Thanksgiving, man?
Oh, man, it was good. Yeah, real chill. Not great football-wise. Like talking about the Buckeyes, the Bengals. Yeah, we don't. Sorry, let's not even get there.
Yep.
Thanksgiving itself was great. Yeah, good food, good people, and still had football, so it still was fun.
Yeah.
What about you?
No, it was good. It was good. We, I smoked a turkey. I made some stuffing. I put a lot of hours in the kitchen, and it paid off immensely.
Yeah.
When dinner time came around. So pretty pumped about that. Always happy to eat a lot of food.
Yeah, the turkey looked good. You made.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Was it in the PML group chat that Cody was hating on Thanksgiving? Was he? I said it was a.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Yeah, he really hated on it. He did walk it back. It's the same way it happens when you try to trade with Cody.
Yep.
It's like, yeah.
He's like, no, I feel so strongly about this. And he's like, well, I don't know. I have to think it over. Let me sleep on it.
Yeah, he's got to never mind. But no, yeah, it's there was a lot of disagreement with holidays in the chat about that, and
yeah,
I stand by. I love Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I think it's one of my favorites.
I
think it might be my favorite.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. The night before Thanksgiving, you're supposed to get drunk. When you're hungover, what do you want to do? You want to sit down, watch football, probably drink some more, eat a lot of food. It's literally a holiday created around the best things in life. So I don't know what more you're looking for.
If I wasn't into football, Thanksgiving would be so different.
Different, but still not bad.
No, yeah, still great.
Yeah, still great.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, you know what else was great was last week, and like you said, what we got ready for this show here. So let's go ahead and look back. Let's look back here. Let's start with this one on top here.
Okay.
Yeah. Fly Eagles Fly. Yeah, go for it.
This was just an awesome matchup. I think it worked out exactly the way that Ethan would want it to. Obviously, Grant scored a lot, so it wasn't perfect for Ethan. But he wanted Ryan to win, and he wanted to score a lot of points. So that's everything he could have asked for, right? Am I wrong here? Talk me through that, because this is kind of what we were hinting at. I think we should talk through it now because I think there was a little bit of uncertainty. Yeah. So talk me through it, Matt.
No, I think even last week, we both, if people remember if you watched last week's episode, we both kind of were like, whoa, we shouldn't talk about this. Chip and I later had a phone call and realized we actually were on different sides of this, which was even more interesting. So I'll share both those if you don't mind.
Please.
Basically, I saw it from Ethan's point of view that, yes, he needs to score some points, but he still needs to lose because he's not going to beat Ryan in PF, probably won't beat Parker in PF. So the only way he gets in is if Ben is in the 6th spot. So he needs Ryan to stay above Ben. Now, you saw it from the other side.
Yep.
Sorry, I'll let you jump in from there.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it from Ryan's side. And if Ryan pretty much has his ticket punched, I think is what we agreed on, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So Ryan, if you're looking at who do you want to be in the playoffs, probably from his perspective, you want the number 10 person in PF. You would rather have them in the playoffs than the guy who's on an absolute heater. So I saw it from, it would be in Ryan's best interest to sit all of his guys, force Ethan to get the win so that he would lose.
And Ben would be in.
Would be in.
Yeah, you're dropping down to 5th or 6th because you know you're going to get that PF spot.
Yep.
If you get all the way to 6, you got the PF spot, and you want Ben to get in by record. So yeah, you would lose it. I didn't think about it like that, but yeah, from his point of view, I was like, oh, I agree. I would want to play Ben. Here's the thing: Ben has beat Ryan though on 2 Monday night games.
I know.
Does Ryan want to face Ben a third time? I think so. Just statistically, I'm like, I don't think Ben does it a third time, but Ben also has been defying the odds all season. So maybe Ryan doesn't want to test those odds. He'd rather play somebody new.
I don't know, man. It's just exciting all the way around.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. We should go ahead.
I was like, what about Josh Allen though? I just got before we leave this matchup, putting up 28, but catching a touchdown,
pass to
running
himself,
the touchdown, and passing the touchdown. He did it all.
Yeah.
He did it all.
That's awesome.
Pretty crazy. All right, you want to come back to yours?
Sure. Yeah, we can come back to it.
All right, let's go here.
Yeah.
Battle the Flora roommates here.
It's funny because they were either in Flora together, and their teams are just at the absolute Flora. You know what I mean? Like, there's no, you can't go down from there. No, I'm just kidding. They both had good weeks, but again, the trending downward and nobody remembers 7 through 9 is probably the perfect two names for this matchup. You just kind of like, okay, all right, and we'll see you next year. And this is coming from a guy who is in there with him, so this is not shit talk in any way. But there's just so much more going on. But I will say the one thing I do want to say about this matchup, though, I am prepared to say,
excuse me,
I am sorry. Rico Dowdle went ahead and put up 19.8 points. I want to say something about Jaden Reed, but Grant benched Jaden Reed for Quentin Johnson.
Yep.
I don't know what to say about that. But Jaden Reed had 18 points.
2 touchdowns, yeah. And I played Grant this week, so I was curious if I'm going to get burnt by Jaden Reed and Rico Dowdle this week.
That would be funny.
See. We'll get there. We'll get there at the end of the episode. We'll see how it goes. Moving on to Tripp and Parker. I really thought – I barely watched a little bit of the Monday night game, and off the bat, it looked like Tripp's guys are not going to get the points he needed to actually win that, which would have made it really interesting.
Yeah.
But Jerry Jeudy, geez, put up 36.
Oh, my goodness, Joey Jeudy.
Oh, yeah, dude. Jerry Jeudy doing it all. But, that's insane. That's scary, because he lost Kareem Hunt.
I know. And it hurts me.
He fixes that.
It hurts me a little bit because I picked up Jerry Jeudy when Amari Cooper got traded, and he was kind of not awesome for a little while, so I ended up dropping him for I don't even know who. And to see him go off hurts a little bit because it's one of those where it's like I was right, but I wasn't. I didn't believe in myself. Yeah. So
this is a hot take. You ready for this?
Please.
Hot take. I think you know how in the NBA people argue LeBron could win the MVP every year.
Okay.
But because he could win it every year, it's not as special. So when a guy does well, you got to give him the MVP.
Yeah.
Tripp basically could win manager of the year every year because of his waiver wire pickups every year are insane.
Okay.
Bo Nix was waiver wire. He's been great. Jerry Jeudy, he does it. But he also does it every year that we're all just yep, there's Tripp doing it again.
Yeah.
I just don't think he gets the credit that he does. Because you're right. I picked up Jerry Jeudy. I think maybe in this league also and dropped him. But we just don't hold on to the guys, and Tripp's no.
Yep.
There's gold here.
Yes.
And he holds on.
Yeah.
Damn it, Tripp.
Props to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But all right, after that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say maybe next year with a crazier waiver wire and less benches, there'll be more gold out there for all of us.
We'll see.
Tripp takes it.
That'll be very, very crazy. But moving on to your matchup versus Cody. Always happy to see a bad man lose. But this one didn't have too much implication, but if Cody would have won, he would have had a chance at a bye, right?
Yeah, that would have been it. That's all it really did. And, I'm glad Cody recognized it because he was he did the if I would have played blank person. And then he said it too because I feel the same way. He was but Matt could also say if I would have played Brock Bowers. Yeah, that sucks. But I'm happy. I want to beat Tripp for the PF.
Right.
Crown, get that $100. And had I played Brock Bowers, I would have definitely tightened that race. If not, I was only down by 7, so I think I might have. Yeah, I would have scored.
You would have scored more.
20.
Yeah.
I would. Yeah, I would be PF king right now. I still got a chance, but we'll see. Not looking great. All right, let's bring it back. Take it away.
Yeah.
Matchup here.
I mean, it was a tough week for me. 87 points is probably average for me. And then looking down and seeing 21 points on the bench is pretty tough. But it sets up the coolest. This is probably the coolest Week 14 / week before the playoffs matchup we've had in PML history, right?
Yeah, probably. I have to say I can't argue that.
And then it compounds by Ben being dead last in PF by 200 points. So it's like the absurdity of him making the playoffs combined with the Week 14 matchup deciding who goes is just awesome.
No, it's incredible. And even from this PML podcast point of view, I was nervous that it was going to get locked in this week somehow, like weeks ago. And I was like, Week 14 podcast, like, what are we going to talk about?
I know.
And we'd find something. We always find something. Of course. But I'm just happy it's this, So without further ado, let's jump over to the standings, huh? Here we go. First off, I want to welcome Ryan into the playoffs officially. He clinched. Mm-hmm. He's in. And I want to congratulate Tripp on clinching the bye. It doesn't say it here because technically, Cody could pass him in PF, and Tripp could also lose. A lot needs to happen, but Cody, I think, needs to outscore Tripp by 170. Which would just, so Tripp has the bye.
I'll go on record here, and I'll say that I don't think that'll happen. Is that crazy? Mm-hmm. Or I don't know. I'm not afraid to take that stance.
Unless Cody drives down to Norwood and breaks into Tripp's house, steals his phone, benches all of his players.
Right.
Even then, Cody would have to break a record and score the most points ever in the new era.
Yeah.
So I think Tripp has the bye. That means me and Tripp will be on either sides of the brackets. So, Tripp, hope to see you in the final, bud. We said it. I said hope to see you again. It'd be great. All right. And I want to say, Cody has also guaranteed the 3rd spot. Ryan has guaranteed either the 4th or 5th spot.
Yep.
So, me and Ryan will be on one side of the bracket. Tripp and Cody will be on the other. The question is who will be joining us and who will be playing who.
That's awesome. I think there's a couple ways for this to shake out, right? There's 4 different ways this could go. Do you know all 4 of them?
People.
Do you know
I got
all 4? All right, lay it out for me, one by one.
So let's start with the easiest scenario because Ben only has one way. He's got to win. He beats Parker this week. He's in the playoffs. Okay?
Oh, my God. I think the worst thing that could happen for my personal sanity would be like a freaking 76-71 Ben win. And so Ben would squeak in with like 0 points for and I've been oh man, that would really hurt me a lot. But that would be crazy. That would be crazy.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to break down their matchup later because there's some possibility for that. We'll talk about why when we get to the actual who's on. There's a lot of buys this week. There's a lot of buys in Week 14, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So we'll get there. All right, let's go number 2. So Parker, if he wins, he's in. And again, we're going to get to that matchup. But I want to throw out, here's the case where Parker doesn't get in. It's a crazy one.
Okay.
I'll throw this out. But he's got to lose to Ben, yes. And then he's currently, if you look at the PF we got up here, he's currently about 72, 73 points ahead of the next guy. Cody, but Cody doesn't matter. Ethan. He's about 73 points ahead of Ethan.
Yep.
So Ethan would have to outscore Parker by 73. That has not happened this season yet. I mean, Ethan's put up like a 130, 140 before.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's possible. What hasn't happened is Parker, being Parker, who he is, true to his just what we think of Parker, has not hit a really low week. But Lamar Jackson's on a bye. His quarterback is on a bye. There is a chance. So if Parker scores about 60, Ethan puts up 130.
Wow.
That's how Parker is actually out of the playoffs. So
that would be crazy.
As long as, that would be insane. That would be insane. Do you think this is possible, Chip? What do you think?
I mean, through God, all things are possible, so jot that down. But, honestly, no. Yes, I do think it's possible. Possible and
likely.
Probable are two very different things. It's completely improbable, but I'm rooting for it. You know, if Ben's going to get in, that's how I want it to go down.
Yeah,
Because,
like you said, a 71-70.
Yeah.
Or let's drop that a little
drop
bit.
it.
Let's go 70-65.
Yep.
Parker loses.
Yep.
And then Ethan puts up 130 and Ethan gets in.
And then I would also feel better about myself because I know that there would be no way I could win my last matchup because Ethan would have scored so many points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's
There you go. All right, so that's Parker, that's Ben. We got that. All right, let's go with Ethan. He's the next closest to getting in after Ben because Parker's basically a lock. You know, again, as long as he doesn't put up a snoozer. Ethan needs Ben to lose, and then he's got to keep his advantage on Grant. That's the thing. He's got to keep his advantage on Grant. He's 53 points ahead of Grant. 53. So he's got to just make sure Grant doesn't outscore him by 53. And Ben loses, and then Ethan's in. So that's, I think, a pretty high chance there of that occurring for Ethan. Lastly, Grant is not technically out of it, but here's where Grant needs. Again, Ben to lose, so Ben is the sixth person, and then he's got to outscore Ethan by 53, as we said. Now, that happened in week 4.
Whoa.
So Grant did outscore Ethan by 53 plus, so he needs another repeat of that. However, Grant's number one player... Do you know who's number one player off the top of your head? What's his team name? Number 2 running back on the year, maybe?
Joe Mixon?
Mm-hmm. Joe Mixon's on bye, as well as Brian Robinson, who's been incredible. So Grant does not have a running back other than Rico Doodle. So
now this is a really good point. What if Grant had played his 2 players who were on his bench last week? He had Brian Robinson Jr. and he had Jaden Reed on his bench. They combined for 50 points, the 2 of them, and he definitely had 2 guys who were below 10.
Well, he definitely would be like within 10 points of Ethan. Oh my goodness!
I didn't think about. Hand to God, did not think about that until right now because I only looked at his
neither
team.
did I. Of course. Oh, Grant, no! He could have been shooting distance to pass Ethan.
Yeah, like a very serious chance of making it.
Wow!
Oh my gosh!
All right, but those are the cases here. So if I scroll back up, I know it says Ethan's out. But he's not because of PF, because of our record. I mean, our rules. ESPN don't get it. They don't get us.
No, they don't.
It's
they're ridiculous, man. They don't play by real league rules, you know.
No. You know, speaking of which, like we never look at the final. You know how they do that projections where they shoot the arrows left and right.
Don't do that shit.
Should we look at how bad they did? No, you don't want to see it.
No,
I really haven't looked at it in forever.
I really don't want to see it, but we should do it.
All right.
We should do it,
okay.
But I don't want to do it.
All right. Well, and again, this is their projections, which now they're a week away, so they're like, they're not projecting too far in the future. So,
I'll tell you what, I would have settled for the projection. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. Where'd they have you? So they had Ben at number 1 because he was the number 1 pick. He took CMC. We all get it, you know. But
yep.
Drop down. They had Ethan at 2, but Ethan might get in there. We'll see. They finish it. Again, they don't get our rules, so he might not finish at 8 because of that. They had me at 3. All right, they weren't that far off. Look at Ryan. They know Ryan. They got Ryan teed up.
Yeah, man.
They know him.
Just Mr. Consistent, you know.
Ooh, I see what you're saying now. You are at 5. How early on did that just?
On that note,
yeah, pull that bottle out.
Just get all that in there,
man.
All right.
I'm excited for next year when me and you are number 1 and number 2.
I said it on a podcast a while ago, but again, I have identified the 2 critical errors that I made, and I knew them before the draft, and I told myself, don't do it again this year. And I did it again this year. And now I'm in the pits again.
That's all right.
I think to answer your question, when did it change? How soon did it change? Week 2.
Yeah, I remember there was an update when we changed the schedule. You went down, and then week 2 it kept going.
Yep.
Grant's living exactly where he always does, about 6'7". He's right in that range.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why ESPN doesn't believe in Tripp, but there we go. Well, they can't account for his managing throughout the year.
No, you can't. That's like the X factor. It's like it's like IQ, like sports IQ. He's got fantasy football IQ.
Yeah. Chicken and rice, 5 to 8. I'm telling you, this is where Parker lives, man. 5 to 8. He finishes around 500 most seasons. Well, most recently, I should say. That's like my gut feeling. I don't have any data to back that up. And then Cody from 9 to 3, most injured team. Oh my God, everybody injured. Yeah, jumps all the way up. Sorry. And the 2-time champ Patrick at 10 to 9. I'm excited for the day. I don't actually. Oh shoot! Do I want to say?
You're already halfway there. Everyone knows what you're going to say.
I feel bad for Patrick, and I'm excited for the day that he's back on top. But like, I also don't want him on top because like I'm trying to win, you know. So I want him just up in the mountain, you know, up there with us.
Right. But
don't win another one.
You're just saying you don't like it when Patrick is on top of you. You prefer to be on top of Patrick. Am I understanding that correctly?
But not on the bottom either, all the way on the bottom. Just, a good middle.
Just some people. You want some people in between you and Patrick when he's on the bottom.
Yeah, I want him closer to me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand. I'm a visual learner, so I need to fully understand.
No, I gotcha.
All right.
Well, speaking of which, we might have a PowerPoint presentation from a league member next week. So, people, you can think about who you can think about.
You know who. PowerPoint presentation means exactly one person. But I will say this week, we did not do our traditional caller. We didn't field the callers and say, hey, just call in if you want. We tasked 2 people specifically with sending us a call in, and we prompted it. Think of this as your heavyweight title matchup where they have interviewers before them, what was it? What was the fight last weekend or 2 weekends ago? Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. It's Mike Tyson and Jake Paul right now. So we reached.
Wait, real quick, pause. Did you watch it?
No, I watched the dudes fight before them, and that was a good fight. But then we went to sleep.
Yeah, it's the worst Friday night. I don't know why. I stayed up so late. I don't stay up that late.
Yeah.
And I stayed up so late, and it was so awful. I threw away my Friday night, and then also slept in Saturday morning because of it. And threw it.
Damn.
Jake Paul owes me a lot of more time back. Actually, but he got me. He did his thing as a promoter.
Yeah. He got you.
And he got me.
You got.
He got me bad. Sorry, anyways, go ahead.
But anyway, I posed a question to Ben and Parker. I said, hype your team up, talk shit about the other team. And the biggest thing I said is give PML a reason why they should root for you in this matchup. It's 7:54 right now, Tuesday night. We haven't heard back from Ben. I know he's working right now. I do have Parker, so we're gonna play Parker's. If somehow we get Ben's at any point until the time we stop recording, we'll play it. But for now, we're gonna put it out. If Ben sends me one later, I'll just send it in the group chat or something. But here is Parker Smith telling you why you should root for him this weekend.
What's up, PMLP? Team Chicken and Rice. Calling it for the 3rd time. And this time's a little different because the co-host, they asked me a pair of questions. Chip was very precise. He said, only talk about this if you go on a tangent or don't. He's going to get very mad. So I feel like I'm in Russia and fucking Stalin's just watching my rations. Is that how it works over there? I don't know.
Pretty much.
But Matt wanted me to answer a question too. But Matt went behind Chip's back with his question.
You
so
son of a bitch.
Matt's first. Matt's question was why Chip's season failed and what didn't work out about it. And the more I reflected and thought about it, there's 2 things that Chip did on draft day. One.
Quick pause. I want to say what the 2 things are. I want to predict them.
Okay, wait. You're predicting what he's going to say.
Predicting what he's going to say.
Okay, because you've hinted twice now that you have 2 things you've identified.
Yes.
You're not saying those, though, right now.
This is because I want to say them. I'm not going to say them. I want to play.
Oh, please. I'd love to hear it, but it's your strategy. So
I think I reached on a quarterback when I didn't need to, and I reached on the wrong quarterback. And then I focused on the wrong running backs, which is obviously, in hindsight, that's easy to say. But I think
it sounds like you're just saying, I drafted the wrong guys.
No,
that's not what you're saying. Tell me more.
I mean, Rashad White was a guy that I never planned on drafting once, even a single time in any mock draft I ever did. Travis Etienne was like, I was between him and Kyron, and I just didn't trust McVay. And I just so drafting the wrong second and third round running backs, and then drafting a quarterback in the 5th round.
Chip was the most formally dressed.
Shit.
That could mean something. That could mean something. 2, I think he was the most sober. I really do. I think he started the drinking later in the day, which is probably a smart move. Good for you, Chip. But, I mean, maybe drafting fantasy football players requires a little bit of drunkenness. Pat did it.
Yep.
Pat was blasted off of his mind, and he won a title. I mean, absolutely. That was in Columbus at the Airbnb. Absolutely blasted. I mean, he didn't know where he was, and he won a title. Is there correlation? Correlation without causation, right, Trip? But there you go, Matt. I answered your question. Chip wanted me to talk about the matchup with Ben. You know, win and get in. Lose, I might be out. Ben might be out, or Ben will be out. And how I feel about it, I feel like Ben has just been begging all year for his fantasy season to end. I mean, it's been the most miserable, just miserable season. And he's been crawling. I mean, he's just been crawling, and everybody else has been stepping. I mean, he's trying to crawl away, but I've been stepping toward, and I'm getting ready to stomp on him like a little bug walking down the sidewalk, and I'm an angry 12-year-old that kills insects. I didn't do that, but imagine that. Imagine. But everybody in the league should root for me because Team Chicken and Rice, I mean, come on, chicken and rice is a staple. How long has chicken been around? I mean, before our ancestors were even around and humans were on this planet, chickens were chickening around. It's inevitable.
Is that true?
Ben's the new guy. He tries to crawl in here, have some miserable season, and somehow gets to the playoffs. And then a chicken team that's just built on chickens is just for the people. We feed the people. We like to make the people happy. So root for me. Vote for Team Chicken and Rice. Give me your vote. On Sunday, I would hope that you would help me squanch on Ben and finally put an end to it. Thank you. Vote for Team Chicken and Rice.
Well,
Wow.
let me just say first off, I'm going to wear sweatpants and black out at the draft.
Yeah. At this point, you have to.
I really do appreciate Parker saying that because those two things I didn't put it together, but
That's a friend.
Honestly, yeah. I am thinking too technically. I'm thinking about the X's and O's. I'm trying to, gamesmanship and like really analyze it. He's like, no, you're dressed too much and you didn't inject enough booze into your veins. And obviously he's correct. So I do.
I will say.
Yeah.
I did also wear a suit, if you remember. I wasn't there,
I do remember.
but I did wear a suit. I don't know if Parker remembers that.
It's
He
really
never looks at me.
It's really
He
important
doesn't
that you don't say that though, because I
okay.
need to have a reason other than my own drafting ability why I didn't do well. Do you understand?
Sure.
So
I did drink a lot. I put down the whole bottle of champagne and more. So
thank you. Yeah. So blacking out on the draft is going to happen for sure. What do you think about the rest of his speech about why chickens have inhabited the earth forever and Ben's just crawling? What do you think about the rest of that call?
Yeah, I think Ben. Two things here. I think Ben, yes, he has been crawling, and he wants to make a name for himself. Of like, I want to get in the playoffs. I mean, I love the amount of attention we've given Ben this year as the new guy. Not just because he's the new guy, but he's put us on this roller coaster. He's really been a big part of this podcast in many ways.
He really has.
But yeah, and so one, I'm rooting for Ben. We haven't talked. Honestly,
No.
which one of us we're rooting
We
for.
have not.
But I'm rooting for Ben for many reasons. One, so like I want him in the playoffs because I'd love to play against him given the statistical advantage. But then also the story. However, I think Ben, there's a chance, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. He is crawling, and he might just crawl all the way home like Jerry did in Rick and Morty. He just kept crawling.
I just kept crawling.
So, I don't know. I think there's a real chance he beats Parker this week. I'm excited to actually pull up the matchup. Go ahead.
So I don't want to jump the gun, but we're talking about it. So I looked at the matchup. Don't look at it.
Don't jump the gun too much.
I know, but what else is there to talk about this? I
got something for us.
Oh, shit.
Just go ahead.
All right. Well, I'm looking at the matchup. Ben still needs to put a tight end in. So his tight end is on bye, and he currently does not have a backup, so he's got to pick someone up. So that won't change until tomorrow. But the current projection, and let me just check.
Parker doesn't have a quarterback in.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
The current.
He doesn't have one on the roster either. Like, he's got nobody.
Yeah, and there's also people on his bench that he'll probably put in. Parker is projected to beat Ben by 30 points with no quarterback.
Oh, shoot. Okay, I see where this is going.
Yeah. Now, that is not to say that our good friend Benjamin is not going to pull it out of the hat, because he has every single week of this year. But it's not looking great. I do want to hear what you have to say. We'll analyze their matchup in depth more. But
well, first of all, who are you rooting for, by the way?
I've struggled with this internally. On one hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have been in the pits 3 years in a row and not last in PF every year. I don't think I've been last in PF 1 year. You can fact check me on that. I might be wrong. I'm very close to being fourth. I mean, seventh this year.
Yeah.
So like close. I'm not like. It would be crazy. I'd have to have the craziest week ever. You were talking about Grant's points and the way Grant could get in, and I was like, I'm not that much behind Grant. But I'm not going to get in this year. I wouldn't have gotten in I didn't get in the other years, but I was never last. Ben is last. Ben has over 100 points less scored than I do. So to see him not go through any trials and tribulations in PML, knowing his fantasy history, he is a fantasy prodigy. His father has been playing since they were writing the scores on sticks and stones and looking at them by campfire after they came back from the hunt for the day. So it's in his blood. The guy wins. He's got like legendary fantasy stories. So to see him come in and underperform by his own standards, this is not shit talking. By his own standards, underperform.
We all expected higher.
And to see him get in the playoffs would really suck. The flip side of that coin is that it would be good to see the little guy win. I'm not talking about Ben's height here. I'm saying the little guy is in like the low point scorer. Because it's one of those situations where it's like, to me, it's like, well, there's a silver lining. It could happen one day. All that considered, for the craziness aspect of it, I want Ben to win. Because I think it would be the craziest outcome that we will probably never have it happen again in PML history, where the number 10 point scorer makes the playoffs. I'll add to that and say I would love nothing more than for him to make the semifinals or the championship. Yeah, because it would just be so crazy. I mean, truly out of this world crazy.
I think I would really love for him to win also, because remember, if he wins, he's not the 6th seed. He cannot be the 6th seed. So if he wins, he's 5, which means he plays Ryan. Yeah. So we get a third matchup of Ryan versus Ben, which leads me to, we couldn't get Ben to call in. This is a gamble. I just texted the guy, but I'm currently...
Oh, shoot.
Ryan Cunningham. Let's see if he picks up. This could be nothing, you know.
Oh, this would be an all-time PML moment if he picks up.
He won't be able to hear you. Just know if he does. But if he does, we got to ask him who he wants to play more. Parker.
Ryan, come on.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available.
On air?
At the tone,
leave a voicemail. Don't expect a call back.
When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Hi, Ryan. You're live on PMLP right now. We thought we'd try you. Chip, we won't be able to hear you. Anything you want to say?
Ryan, you'll hear this not on your voicemail, but when you listen to the pod, I know you're a big-time fan of the pod, and we always appreciate that. We were just calling to see who you'd rather play between Parker and Ben in the first round of the tournament of the championship. You always give good insight. We appreciate you. I hope whatever you're doing is super important because we've literally never called into someone live on PML, and this was completely unplanned. You missed the one and only opportunity, and you're going to sleep with that tonight.
If you get this, Ryan, call us back.
Please.
Right. Or Ryan, if you're I hung up, but if you're listening, Ryan, on the pod now, I think you could at least send an audio message into PML.
Yeah, he could.
Telling us who you want to win. So when you hear this, maybe he gives us a call back while we're live on air, and we'll leave time for that in a second. But all right, let's dive into the matchups.
Yep.
And we are going to be looking at their actual player by player here. I think is what we're going to dive into. We'll run quick through a couple of them that don't really matter, of course. Other than, some people winning some money, some PF crown money or not. So here's one. Let me zoom out just a little bit so you can get it all. You got everybody in, Chip?
Unfortunately.
More than likely.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's looking like 115. That's higher than it was before we started the pod. I think Chip, Ethan knew we were recording.
Yeah, he must have. I don't know who he would have had in, but he definitely, maybe Cortland Sutton, maybe, I don't know. He switched someone somewhere. 115. Again, for me, it doesn't matter too much. The only way it would be an absolute pipe dream for it to matter to me, and I'd have to have every player score probably close to 40. I'm not saying it couldn't happen. I'm not saying it will, but I'm not saying it couldn't. Something to think about.
Yeah, I'm texting Ryan, telling him call us back. But
hey, man, this is a professional damn podcast. We don't send texts on the podcast.
Yeah, we need a producer. We need a producer.
We do.
Can be like, all right, reach out to our guy.
Yeah.
I mean, Pat is kind of our unwritten producer.
Shout out to Pat. First of all, can we say that?
Dude,
can we say shout out to Pat?
I appreciate that man so much.
The logo that he made up for us was awesome.
We don't pay him enough.
No, not nearly enough. I was thinking about doubling his salary. I don't know about you. Can we say it right now? I vow right now to double his salary.
I love that. I'm in.
Cool.
I'm in.
Pat,
let's do
congratulations.
Right.
We're going to pay you doubled. Yeah. On the spot.
So anything else to say about the matchup? I just want to say I look at Ethan's team. Josh Allen, Bijan Robinson, Devon Achane, Puka, DK Metcalf, who's been underperforming, but he could come back anytime. Hawkinson, Calvin Ridley. This is another reason I want Ben to win.
Dude, if you go back to the early weeks, I said so many times that Ethan's team was an absolute wagon and was going to figure it out eventually.
I'm terrified. I really am. All right, let's move on. Here's another one. Fun one, a battle of the cousins here. Ooh. Okay, no, he's got 3 guys not in. Never mind.
Yeah, I was going to say not much of a battle, but I did see quarterback, running back, flex, all on bye. So he could put Sam Darnold in, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ryan's easily going to win, so he's going to get the 4th spot. But if something were to happen and Ryan lost and all this crazy thing happened, at worst he gets the 5th spot.
Yeah,
so
he'll be fine.
And which is on the same side of the bracket. 4 plays 5. So he's literally not changing. There's not actual home field advantage. There's no point.
Yeah.
So, we'll move on. Here's a fun one because this could be a semifinal rematch. Cody knocked Tripp out of the playoffs last year.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're getting them, I think, for a second time this season. We can get them for a third time in the semis because they project to be on the same side of the bracket.
Yep.
If Cody were to get out of the first round, he would play Tripp. So it's a fun one. We do have some buys. No Nico Collins for Tripp. Who else? Cody's got a lot of buys.
Yeah. So I want to also point out no Derek.
Both sides. No Derrick Henry.
I was just going to say no Derrick Henry. Bo Nix, not like he's been incredible, but he's been very solid. On Cody's side,
guy, yeah,
exactly. On Cody's side, no Jonathan Taylor, no Zay Flowers, no Terry McLaurin, and that introduces.
Can we just say though, even if they were in, Cody would pick the wrong one
for sure. And honestly, this probably helps Cody a lot.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What I would personally like to see is a world where Alexander Madison outscores Deebo Samuel. I don't know about you. I think that personally to me would just really be enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, or Justin Herbert. He puts Justin Herbert in for Baker because Baker shit the bed. Baker's kind of injured. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. Put Justin in. Puts Justin in, and then Baker goes off.
Yeah.
And I hope everything we're saying right now is just tilting Cody more to not know what to do. You would think it's collusion, but Cody's going to collude with himself. It's okay.
No, yeah, you couldn't possibly say anything that would confuse Cody more than the thoughts that he has at like 8 in the morning on Sunday. Like that is probably.
I was going to say, I think I did that on Thanksgiving. I told him to put J-Mo in, and then I said that like, don't worry, Cody, I trust you. You always make the right choice, smiley face, like all this stuff. And then he put J-Mo in, and then the rest of the weekend, why did I put J-Mo in?
It's awesome.
That felt perfect. All right. Me versus Grant. This is where like Tripp could take the bye from me. Not bye from me. The number 1 seed bye. Like switch the bracket side from me. However, Grant's playing without his best player of Joe Mixon, Brian Robinson. The other 2 byes aren't really bad, but I mean Brian Robinson's been great. So has Joe Mixon. So I feel good about it. I do have Jaden Daniels on bye. Starting Jordan Love against the Lions, which is not a great matchup for quarterbacks.
Yep.
But there are big-time rivals. It's Thursday Night Football.
Oh, that's Thursday night this week?
Yeah, Green Bay versus Detroit.
Wow.
And their records are like up there. That whole NFC North is crazy. So I'm pumped for it. You all might judge me, but I might wear my Packers jersey Thursday night while I watch the game.
You son of a bitch. Show everyone what t-shirt you're wearing right now. Hold it up to the camera.
Yeah, I'm wearing a Bengals shirt right now. And on Sunday I changed into the Bengals shirt, so it's all right. But
yes.
I literally haven't worn the Packers jersey all year, but this is the biggest game against Detroit, and so I was like, oh, it'll be a fun one to root for. So love to see Jordan Love do it.
I think everyone gets an NFC team. Like you're a Bengals fan, you get an NFC team, and then if they play in the Super Bowl, you root for the Bengals. I just think you take it a half step too far. And it's because of the history, and I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying what other people have said to me, privately, and I'll mask that.
Talking about the voices in your head, what they've said to you.
It's either neither here nor there. My friend the Buffalo here, he was just whispering. He was like, "That son of a bitch, Matt. He roots for too many teams." No, I'm just kidding. I've always been an Eagles guy, so I don't have a whole lot of room to talk. I just think Philly is such an awesome sports city. I remember 2017, the Philly special, like that was incredible. And I like the Philadelphia Phillies too on the MLB side. So we all get one.
No, you're right. I crossed the line. It's because I already crossed the line once.
Yep.
I wore a Packers jersey to a Bengals game. That was where I realized I messed up and switched back.
No. I want to emphasize it's not pre where you realize you messed up. It's pre the Bengals being good.
Yes.
And
that's when I realized I messed up.
Nope.
But now, even if the Bengals ever go bad, I'm still rocking with the Bengals.
What do you mean if they ever go bad? They're
We still got Joe Burrow, dude. We're still good. I know we're not going to make the playoffs, but we're still a good team. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. We're still fun to watch sometimes. Anyways, let's move on. Here it is. Oh, God.
Scout?
82-54.
Scout?
Oh.
Let's say, come here. Come bring him around.
Oh, I'll bring him on. Yeah, bring him on the screen.
Come here, bud.
Hi, Haley. I know you can't hear me, but hi.
Hi. Everyone?
Oh,
Scout?
Cutie.
Scout, say hi. Say hi right over there. Right over there. Say hi. Sorry to interrupt.
Hi, Haley.
Say hi.
Haley said hi.
Say hi. Say hi really loudly.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you. Scott figured out how to open the door to this room, so he's been coming in here a lot.
I've been meaning to say, I need you need to ask your wife, for help, because she's number one in the ladies' league. Am I wrong?
You know the worst part about this? Hand to God. She drafted her whole team.
Oh, wow.
She, in years past, there has been some degree of help.
Yeah.
This year, she was like, I want to draft my whole team. She just looked at me and she was like, so it's, maybe I'll send her to the PML draft, on my behalf.
She could be my new co-host. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I'm kidding. That's too far. That was too far. I'm sorry. I take it back. What if one time we let Megan and Haley just, they popped on the episode?
Wow.
I would love to know what everybody else's, reaction,
Wow.
just to be like, oh, hey, there they are.
Wow.
Sorry.
We should have kept that off air.
Camera
Gosh,
idea.
dang it. We're already
Yeah.
recording and we don't know how to edit, so we can't take it out. Gosh,
No,
dang
we never
it.
will. We never
Oh.
will. All right, sorry. Let's get back to the big matchup of the week.
I know.
Oh, my God.
Sorry. All right.
You know what's crazy?
A lot of things.
Yes. While looking at this matchup, I look to the left and I see it's Ben Real. Real, sorry. 7-6. And then I look to the right, Chicken and Rice 6-7. And that is so funny, dude. I knew that, but
I know.
seeing it on the same screen
completely
of
different.
Ben having a better record than him.
Yep.
I want to throw this out there because I believe this has happened. This just adds to the craziness too. Ben sent something earlier in this year in the chat about him and Parker's matchup that, in their other league that's been going on for 10 years.
Yep.
And his most loss to opponent, however you want to put that, worst matchup, Parker has beat the shit out of Ben in that league like crazy. Right? Ben cannot get a win on Parker. Honestly, no, I'm not going to say that.
Say it,
But
say it, say
Ben-
it, say it, say it, say it, say it, say it.
It's not good.
I don't care.
It's like
man.
Ohio State versus Michigan the past 4 years. Yeah, I know, right? But Ben cannot get a win against Parker for years now. But if this was the moment,
I know,
if this
I
is
know.
when Ben could do it.
I would honestly love to know from Ben's perspective, would he suffer all those years of losses to Parker in that other league for the win to get in the playoffs in this league? I want to. It's like a test of his loyalty, because he's he's been in that league for 10 years. I'm sure he's very loyal, but PML has some prestige. You ask around, the people who are kind of in orbit of PML, and there's a lot of buzz about this league. That's the reason why people outside the league watch this podcast. So I'd be curious to know which one he cares more about. I want to go back on my earlier statement to say he only had to change his tight end. He does not. He has to put in a quarterback, and he does have a quarterback to put in. He has two. But Parker
And a running back.
Oh
got
my
CMC in there
gosh!
still.
Okay, all right. I take it back. I'm sorry, Ben.
3 positions.
I officially apologize. However, you got Tank Bigsby. Yeah,
Well, no, he could move Pacheco up into the running back spot.
and then he could put Michael Valdez-Scantling in.
Then he's got some flex, which he plays for the Saints, as Ben's team. And MVS he's caught some touchdowns past couple weeks.
Fair enough.
I mean, let's look. Oh, hold on. Before we let's look at Parker's team though. He's got Lamar. Yes, he's got to go pick up a waiver wire quarterback. Super fun to see who does Parker choose.
There are
I can't wait to see it.
several who are startable.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, that's how the quarterback runs. But will they live up to the projection?
Of course.
And who does Parker put his trust in? That's what I want to know.
know.
I could take my guesses, but that's what I want to know. But let's look at the running back position. Kenneth Walker has disappeared the past couple weeks. Tyrone Tracy gets at New Orleans. They're not the same front they used to have, But the Giants are just a shit show. Like Chuba Hubbard against Philly. Philly's run defense has been insane. Like the matchups he has. Kansas City with what's his name? Chris Jones up front. Like Gus Edwards, you're going to run against him?
Well, I mean, we should definitely take a look at his bench, though, and say Gus Edwards is not going to be starting because he has Juwan Jennings, Najee Harris, and Marvin Harrison Jr. on his bench. Any one of those guys could step in.
Even then, though, I just want to throw out, even then, Najee Harris against Cleveland. Cleveland has a really good run defense, too, with Myles Garrett.
I guess.
Juwan Jennings, Chicago. You can run all day on Chicago, but throwing on them is tough.
But
Juwan Jennings.
But San Francisco is fielding their third string running back.
Still, Brock hasn't looked good. You got Debo out there. You got Kittle.
Debo has looked like one of the worst picks in the draft.
there's just enough mouths to feed that, like, I won't be surprised if Juwan doesn't have a good game. I'm not calling for he's going to, like, he's either boom or bust. And that's what I mean is that, like, the right busts happen. Oh, my goodness. Tyreek hasn't been the same. Drake London against Minnesota. Revenge game, Kirk. I didn't know that. Oh, Atlanta versus Minnesota. That's a fun one for Kirk Cousins.
I might have to play him.
We'll see. I don't know, man. Arizona looked awful against Seattle 2 weeks ago. Do they turn it back around for Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison? There's just a lot of interesting matchups here.
Man.
On the flip side, let's flip it.
Please.
Who does Bucky Irving play?
Las Vegas.
Exactly. How good has he looked?
As someone who drafted Rachaad White, I know exactly how good Bucky Irving looks.
Also, Jalen Waddle versus Tyreek Hill. We got them on each side. We got the Miami receiver on both sides. Jalen Waddle's outperformed, I think, Tyreek the past couple weeks. Maybe not. Don't quote me on that.
Matt, we're not a podcast of facts. You can just say whatever you want.
Yeah. Speaking of which, oh, yeah, he doesn't have a tight end. He's got to go waiver wire tight end. Sorry, I know you said that, but I just processed.
Yep, and that's a way sketchier position than a waiver wire quarterback.
Yeah. Wow. Darnell Mooney, also for Atlanta. Drake London on the other side. We got some wide receiver matchups.
Wow. Oh, my gosh. This matchup has everything. I
can't wait to
am
watch.
genuinely so excited to watch this unfold.
Wow. I want to know, like, they got nobody on Thursday night, right? No Detroit, no Green Bay, either side, so no Thursday night game. Are these Atlanta, Minnesota games 1 o'clock, I'm assuming?
Give me a second. I can tell you. On their matchup, they have Chicago, San Francisco is a 4:25.
Okay.
Chargers, Chiefs is Sunday Night Football.
Wow.
And then everyone else for Parker. I'm sorry. And then Seattle, Atlanta. Seattle, Arizona is 4:05. Everything else is 1 o'clock.
Wow, so no Monday night game.
No Monday night
Monday
game.
night magic for
Nope.
Ben. Yeah. One other thing. We know Ben has to put in either Kyler Murray or Mahomes. We're going to be careful here and not try to suggest one. No, okay, I'm kind of going to suggest
You were
one
going
in
to
my
say,
next statement.
which one do you suggest? Right after saying we're not going to suggest one. You were going to say, which
No,
one do I suggest?
No, I wasn't. I was just going to point out a fun thing that's interesting here.
Okay.
Is Parker has 2 pass catchers, as in Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison for Arizona.
What
and then
are you
Ben has Kyler.
saying right now?
Is that too far? I'm just saying, like, that's a fun, like, thing to look at. Is that, like, you know, does he play the quarterback that is going to be passing to Parker's guys?
And also, if he takes Mahomes, he's kind of stat padding, going on record saying that the Chargers are going to get their cheeks clapped because he also has Pacheco, who's their running back.
Yeah. That's a fun dilemma. I mean, how crazy would it be if he plays Kyler?
Oh,
and Kyler,
my
like,
gosh.
rushes, like, 2 touchdowns and doesn't throw a
Parker
single
starts McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr. That would be all time.
Oh, man. I'm excited for it.
This is awesome.
And if he does play MVS, he's got MVS on one side, Tyrone Tracy on the other side of the ball. Kenneth Walker at Seattle, you know, it's the other side of Arizona. We already got a lot of Arizona guys in here. Wow, like these games, both sides of the ball, there's somebody almost every time.
Yeah.
Atlanta, we already said that. Carolina, who they play? Philly. Okay, he's got no Philly on the other side, but it's.
I'll tell you what, these guys are roommates. We've seen some awesome roommate bets in the past. I'd love to see something go on here because there's so much on the line already, and these two are absolutely degenerate gamblers. So I would love to see them just up the ante a little bit. In past, we've seen things like sleeps on the couch for a week. I would settle for anything. So I just hope that those two step up and do something for the league. It's not for them. It's not for you and me, Matt. It's for the league, honestly, is what it is. I hope that's not lost on them.
I will throw out a potential bet. Throw it out there. We've shied away from food bets.
Oh, God.
However, Parker's been very adamant about his whole chicken and rice thing.
Fair.
If he's to win, Ben has to eat chicken and rice every meal. for 3 days, 5 days, 7 days. You all come up with what you want to do.
What does Parker have to do if Ben wins?
That's another thing I don't know you got to come up with. Ben gets to pick the food. We can figure that out.
There's no way Parker would agree to that. I just know.
Sure, he's not too much of a regiment.
They can.
Wait, I got an idea.
Okay.
Only per Parker's call earlier. Parker must crawl anytime he has to go to the bathroom. He must crawl to the bathroom from his bedroom or from anything. If he is in the apartment, he must crawl the same way Ben has crawled.
That's awesome.
All season.
I like that.
There he is.
I like it. I like it.
All right,
man.
We need to sign off here. We're at an hour.
At a freaking hour. Gosh, we're like.
You know it's playoff time when that happens.
Well, we got some fun stuff coming up for Week 15. Still kind of keeping that under wraps, but be on the lookout. Week 15. Should we specify should we give any kind of hint towards what it might be? Or we also have not decided logistics for that, so I have no idea how we're going to make that happen.
I've thought about it in the way that I'm like,
is it possible?
We'll be tired the next day at work.
Is it possible on your end if we make it work? Is there a way to make it work?
I'm gonna make it work.
We're gonna make it work.
All
right, man.
So I'll just say, like, y'all might be tired Tuesday morning, because Monday Night Football is gonna be a fun time.
It's gonna be a good time.
That's all we're gonna say.
It's gonna be a good ass time. Week 15.
It's gonna be a good time.
Not this Monday night.
Yeah, we got Bengals Monday night.
Bengals Monday night.
But following Monday.
It's all relative. Time's a circle. All right, play that music, man. I gotta go to bed. We've been going for an hour. My dog's coming in here trying to say hi. My wife's showing me up on the podcast. We got the best matchup. This is awesome. PML's the best.
It's gonna be great.
You're the best. Matt and Matt in the evening. Matt and Matt experience.